everybody, and welcome to another edition of Movie Review 30, Late Edition. I am joined by Dean.
Yeah, here I am.
And Kamil.
Hi.
The movie we saw recently was Pixar's Soul. This was supposed to be in the theaters, but due to the COVID pandemic, it was released on Disney Plus instead. The story being, Jamie Foxx plays a man by the name of Joel, who is a jazz teacher that gets a gig with one of his former students, and due to the reaction of the good news, he falls into a sewer and dies, which is where he meets a new soul known as 22 that he has to help go into life.
Yeah, that's pretty much the plot of the movie. Oh, hang on.
Alright, yeah, sorry about that, guys.
Sorry, it's almost like the bed's gonna fall on us.
Yeah, anywho.
Okay, but anyway, now you're wondering, what do we thought of this movie?
I liked it.
Yeah, this movie was pretty much amazing. But what do you think, Kamil?
I liked it too. It was so good.
Oh yeah, there's one thing. We didn't have time to see it again due to the holidays, just like with Wonder Woman 84. And also, we were also going to try to do a double feature with Wonder Woman 84, but we just didn't have the time.
Pretty much.
And then lastly, we were supposed to watch it last week, but one of my family members was sick, and don't worry, the test was negative.
Pretty much.
But now we finally saw the film. So yeah, again, yeah, I think this is like Pixar's best movie since Coco, or any of the Toy Story films, and even Monsters Inc. So Camille, what do you think of it?
It was good, and it was so emotional, careable, lovable, and I loved it.
Yep. So,
I actually thought the movie was pretty well written, and unlike the Emoji Movie, where it talked down to its audience, this does not. And in a sense, this movie did give me at the risk of sounding a little preachy, if I'm saying it right, it gave me a bit of a sense of appreciation.
Yeah, me too. So, now since we keep spoiling any other films from Movie Review 30, spoiler alert. And P.S., no trailers to talk about because we saw this on Disney Plus.
Yep.
So the film opens up with Jamie Foxx.
With Joe, played by Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, where his students have a little hard time playing with the instruments.
And even he's having a bit of difficulty, but there's only one student that was actually enthusiastic, but the students basically jeer him for it. No, jeer her for it.
Yeah. And then so the school's principal arrives to tell Joe that what was it again?
That he got the permanent job.
Which is great for him, and he told his mother and other family members.
However, he dreams of bigger, which is where one of his former students, Curly, tells him, hey, there's this gig with this infamous jazz musician, and she wants to see what you can do. And the sequence happens, and this scene, we actually thought she was just going to say "get out," but she says "wear a suit" instead, implying that he did get accepted into it. Yeah. And upon his
and there have been a couple of dangerous parts where it's almost like he's going to get killed, but managed to get through it. But then
he falls into a sewer
and somewhat dies, and is now in a somewhat the afterlife world.
More like a bit of purgatory, but less creepy.
Okay, and he's like, what happened to me? Hey, how do I get back? And so he tells other souls what.
Yeah, what's going on, and they tell him, hey, it's the escalator to the afterlife, but he doesn't take it too kindly, so he basically manages to break free from it and go into the place that isn't heaven or hell, but rather where life begins in a sense, and I don't mean that in a gross way.
And one thing, those souls said something like the great beyond the going into it. Now I'm just thinking about the honey mustard and sausage part where he says, the great beyond is bullshit!
Yeah.
Anyway.
And eventually,
and then he meets up with those
weird liney dudes. I can't remember their names.
And they're all called Jerry's.
Yeah, they're Jerry's, and the one that looks like this stubby, that looks like Eddie's head from Ed and Eddie.
Named Terry.
Yep.
And, well...
Except this one isn't voiced by Tony Sampson.
Oh well. But it does act like Eddie, in a sense. Well, somewhat.
Somewhat.
Well, anyway, Joe talks with this one Jerry, and giving him, she gives him somewhat of a tour of how this world works.
Yeah.
And then shows that one hole that leads to Earth. And he thinks that he'll get back home, but...
Just one problem.
Yeah?
It doesn't. It just brings him back to where he began.
It cuts to like a very funny montage where he's trying to do it over and over and over again, but
to no avail.
Yeah, it's almost like playing a video game. Like every time I try to beat this one level, it gets frustrating, and the enemies keep killing me again and again.
We all have that moment.
Yeah.
We're already having that with Devil May Cry 4.
Wait, is that game really that hard?
For now, but right now, movie.
Yeah, I'll tell you what game that was frustrating for me.
Dean.
Oh yeah, sorry. Movie.
Sorry about that, everyone. Anyway, continue.
So, you go.
So eventually, he is rounded up as a mentor, basically, where all these people that have quite an influential life actually teach the new souls, but what they're made of, what they're meant to be, or their spark, yada yada yada, and that's where he meets 22, voiced by Tina Fey.
And Joe accidentally takes one of the badges that's not really his name.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who the actual guy was, but...
I think it was this German doctor.
Okay, and... So he meets up with 22, well, 22 doesn't want to be part of the...
Yeah, be among the living, basically. And I don't mean that in a suicidal tendency.
Yeah. And then 22 realizes that Joe is not
that German doctor.
And she mentioned that she had like a couple like mentors that didn't appreciate how.
Yeah, that being, okay, Muhammad Ali.
Yeah,
Mother Teresa. I don't know about the second one though. Mother Teresa. This scientist guy, I can't remember his name.
But yeah, tell me the one soul that has.
And Marie Antoinette as a head.
Yeah. He told me the story of how she died, but we're not gonna get into that. But,
yeah,
but the way in the movie is actually kind of funny. But we're not saying it in a.
And later down the line, one of them is also George Orwell, of all people, the father of Animal Farm in 1984. Way to go deep. Way to go down the rabbit hole, Disney.
And Pixar. I mean. Wow, how the heck did Pixar and Disney get away with it? Honestly.
I don't know what they're going to come up with next. Anywho.
And then, speak of that Eddie lookalike, he or she finds out...
We'll just call it a they.
They find out that Joe escaped from the Great beyond, and
and they're basically trying to search for the lost soul.
where they go to this room full of hoard of drawers, finding a folder.
Yeah, it's it's quite massive.
But then we cut back to Joe and 22 at this room of like purpose, right? What?
The Hall of Everything.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention about the sticker part. So
Yeah, there's this thing called badge where it has everything else but something called a spark. Once they get the spark, it will just turn into the planet Earth, and that's basically a key to get you into the Earth portal.
So they're trying to find some luck with like the part with the pizza, rocket, but 22's like meh, 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 muh. Oh yeah, the way it said muh. That's a reference to glove and boots.
No, it's supposed to be. Meh. Meh.
Okay, continue.
Aside from, and eventually, on side note, they also made a deal that once the Earth badge is complete, 22 will give it to Joel, and he'll be back in his body. But then, however, there is another way to do it where there's these three hippies. I think they're hippies at least.
I don't know, and the main one being Moonwind. Was it Moonwind?
Yeah, we'll just call it Moonwind.
Yeah, until there's this place where 22 throws this like little dark snowball thing and throws it at the souls that
Yeah, the souls that are basically like a tattoo artist.
and one of them is a stage performer.
A stage performer doing Romeo and Juliet.
And it's like, oh, Romeo, line. that is clever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And there was one for basketball players.
which sadly, whichever team it was, they probably lost.
Yeah, most likely.
Or it could be a draw.
Could be.
Anyway, back to the main plot where the main. Oh yeah, and we forgot to talk about the lost souls.
Yeah.
The lost souls are actually a little bit creepy. I mean, one of them going after Joe and 22, but thankfully
The hippie save him and free one of the lost souls who was suffering a massive case of anxiety, and now he gets back into his body. He pretty much goes the way Doc Walker did when he quit his job before Channel Awesome was found. But we're not going to get into that.
yeah, so he's all like, "What am I doing? I'm free, free, freedom, freedom." Yeah.
Just like that.
And sorry about the overacting.
Don't worry about it. I don't think that might. Anywho.
So yeah, Joe.
No, don't worry. That does that.
Yeah. So Joe asked if they could do it for him, but when he does it himself, it's the same Great Beyond game. And he's like, oh no.
Yep.
So.
And then they go to a one with a much thinner, like, I don't know, sea, water, sand, whatever the fuck it is.
Language.
And turns out that Joe's in a coma.
Which I told him earlier, and I was right.
With a therapy cat, and in an impatient act of desperation,
so
he accidentally shoves 22 along with him, and Joe's in the body of a cat. Cat.
Well, 22 is in Joe's body, and I kind of knew that was gonna happen, somewhat.
So they managed to get out, and then.
Yeah.
And this is where the character development begins.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Joe is in a cat's body and tries to tell Joe to calm down of this new life she's in. And by calming her down, he steals a pizza to.
He steals a pizza and shows 22 the appreciation of pizza, which made me hungry for pizza. We got it.
I called my dad to get the pizza, and like he said, we got it. And what was it you told me about the whole pizza thing in New York?
There are 2 states that make the best pizza: New York and New Jersey.
Yep, and anyway, and they meet up with Moonwind again.
In the real world.
Yeah, in the real world, and he's amazed
at the fact that he got into the body of a cat.
And then his boss tells him, like, "What are you doing?"
And he tells him that it's can only happen again in another say solar eclipse thingy.
I guess, and they said they'll meet up later to fix this whole
situation.
But then he meets up with that woman again earlier in the film, and trying to does like this, or Joe hiding his own face while he's still in the cat body.
Yep. And she thought she was crazy, so she basically nearly replaced him. Nearly.
Well, his former student told him on the phone. Well, actually, no, sent a message.
Yeah.
And where they get back to his apartment.
Yep. And meanwhile that's happening, Terry is basically on the pursuit.
Yep, on the pursuit, and is now in the real world trying not to get caught by the human, but where they accidentally caught the wrong person by accident.
Who is now going to be traumatized for the rest of his life.
But let's get back to Joe in 22, where the same girl from early in the young girl said that she quits the whole musician stuff, but
upon listening to her perform, 22 convinces her to keep going, given that she's passionate about it.
Yeah, and that's the last time we saw of the girl. She doesn't come back later on, which that's okay.
I mean, I don't know, it's a great way to end a character arc.
Yeah, me too. And anyway, so they have a little montage where 22's cleaning Joe's body to get all nice, dressed up for the show.
Mm-hmm.
But then Joe accidentally shaved his own head by
accident.
And now they have to go to a barber shop.
And
yeah, take it away, Brock.
And so throughout the entire sequence of 22's hair getting cut. Yeah, sorry about the bed. It's really, really wonky. We'll just move up here. All right. Anywho, she has this really deep and philosophical conversation with the people in the barber shop. And we learned that the barber was originally wanting to be a veterinarian, but after his time in the service, a military service, and after his daughter was born, he couldn't pay the bills for that, so he became a barber. And he's quite proud of it.
Yep, and after the whole barber thing, it goes on where sorry, I know this video is unscripted. Where 22 is playing with this like thing. I don't know what the thing
to spin around.
No, the wind that comes out of the ground.
I don't know what that is actually.
Sorry, we're not experts.
We don't live in New York, obviously.
And then where she accidentally ripped Joe's pants.
So now they have to go back to Joe's mother's place to have it repaired. And Dean, take it away.
Oh yeah. Before seeing his mother. 22 kisses one of
one of the ladies, and
we're not trying.
yeah, we're not trying to be perverted here.
And Joe's like, dude, no.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to see for yourself. It's quite funny.
Yeah, and now Joe 22 finally meet up with the mother character and talk in private. And while Joe's still stuck in the cat bite, tries to tell 22 of
Or what to say, and that's where she gives him Joe's father's suit.
yeah, and seeing that is actually really touching. And after the suit is all done, Joe in the cat body says, "Thanks, Mom."
Yep.
And now that they made it on time and wait for Moonwind to come back with them, but then
However, 22 has a change of heart given that she sees the beauty in life. But she isn't willing to give up the body that easily, so a chase ensues.
yeah, chase ensues. Like,
And eventually,
then
Terry catches up to them, separating both their bodies, and that's when Joe loses it on her.
So yeah, this is where like Joe and 22 have a bit of argument, but then
But then,
yeah.
so after the argument, 22 pretty much relinquishes the Earth badge after getting her spark.
Yeah, she got her spark, but she
feels like she's not worthy of life, so she relinquishes it back to Joe. Joe goes back to the human world.
Yeah.
And
the cat is now back to normal. And oh yeah, let's talk about the cat was going to go to that great beyond. It's like you're like not the cat.
Yeah.
But thankfully the cat's
fine.
And now Joe tries to make it back to the show, but he was almost too late. But they still gave him a chance.
And after several great performances, Joe starts to well, Dean, you do it.
Oh yeah, after the show, which turned out well as he hoped it would, but still felt
empty.
Yeah, for ruining 22's chance of living a new world.
So eventually, as he gets home, he has all the items
that 22 had. Well, they were,
and so he puts himself in this trance that, which was actually explained in the movie that you can still be in the world of souls and the afterlife and the world of the living through a trance, which is what
Moonwind did.
Yeah, and this is what Joe's doing also. Oh, while that's happening, 22's doubt begins to fester to the point where she becomes a lost soul.
Yeah, and they managed to find her as a lost soul and try and catch her, but most isn't working pretty well, and she goes a little bit like dinosaur size-ish.
Well, I wouldn't say dinosaur size-ish, more like bear size-ish.
Actually, that's even better. And
compared to a child, that is. Anywho. So eventually, Joe convinces her, you do it.
Yeah, so yeah, he gets devoured by 22 in her lost soul form, and it's inside in this like darkness.
Where every single mentor has berated her to the point where she really believes that she is not worthy of it.
Yeah, seeing all those ghost dark like mentors, it's almost something out of a psychological horror film, I think.
Yeah.
And then sees a darker version of himself.
Yeah, and
but he managed to fight back by showing 22 that little
leaf thingy, gives it to her.
Yeah,
and it causes her to snap out of it.
Yeah, the little leaf thingy.
Well, almost. Basically.
Excuse me.
Sorry about that.
The little leaf thing that she saw earlier when she was in Joe's body. Okay, back to what you were saying.
So then there was a sort of a scene where it's back to
where she's back to normal. They manage to forgive each other.
well, not forgiveness. Rather, Joe convinces her that life is worth living. She did find that spark on her own,
and now she finally gets her like Earth badge back, and
she seems scared at first to go into the world of the living, but
Joe shows her by holding her hand
and going with her. And eventually, and then we see him going into the great beyond. But one of the Jerrys, basically tells him, "Hey, what you did was incredibly selfless and inspiring. So we're going to give you a second chance of life," which he takes, and the movie ends there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and before that, like, one of the Jerrys distracts Terry. Like,
yeah, because
it goes like, "Okay, you be one of the Jerrys, I'll be Terry." No.
Hey, what's over there?
What?
I don't know, I forgot. Well, we've been talking.
Yeah, and then the movie ends where Joe is back in his body again, and cuts to black, movie over, and oh yeah, there was somewhat of a post-credit scene where Terry comes in and is like, "What are you all doing here? Movie's over, go home!" And we were like, "But we are home!"
Yeah, this was supposed to be in theaters, but given the COVID pandemic,
But it was a nice thing they did that.
Yeah.
Because so it's like, this isn't a Marvel movie, this is Pixar. For crying out loud.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was the movie.
So, yeah. I think Pixar should be proud of themselves for this movie.
Yeah, same here.
So, like you said, this movie is a lot better than the Emoji Movie, because the Emoji Movie just treats its audience like idiots.
Yeah, it's like they're just waving the keys around.
Or it's more like, laugh at us! Laugh!
Yeah, that too.
Oh my god, I just did it again.
Yeah, this movie was actually...
But with Soul, go on.
Soul pretty much treated its audience like they gave a shit.
Yes, and so yeah, this is like one of the best films of 2020, and pretty much Pixar's best work ever, and it will probably be my new favorite Pixar movie.
Yeah.
So do you have anything else to say, Kamil?
No.
I mean, what are parts of the movie that made you laugh?
Oh, the loop down to Earth and back to here. Yeah.
yeah, we just mentioned that.
Yeah.
So who was your favorite character in it, Kamil?
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe. Mine too.
Yep. I just love the part when Joe was stuck in the cat's body.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, there's something I forgot to mention. When he's talking to the doctors, unfortunately, he's meowing and they can't understand him.
Yeah, that was the second part. That was during the time where it was more where he still had the out of the body experience. So yeah.
So yeah, I think that's all we gotta say.
So yeah, if you have a chance to see this movie, then do.
Yeah, if you have Disney Plus,
go give it a watch.
So I think we're gonna have to end this right here.
Well, this is... Oh, what do you know?
Huh.
Right on time. No intermission. Well,
this is Brock from Light Post Films.
This is Brock and Guest from Light Post Films.
And Kamil Domat.
And Dean.
From Light Post Films, signing off.
Bye.